everybody, and welcome to Adkins Academy. Today we are, going to set up our tentative camera stand. Today we are going to learn some more letters of the alphabet, D, E, and G, and also some more alphabetic word signs, and even some short form words. So, welcome, and ignore my messy studio, if you want to call it that here. You can probably see more of the couch, but which is a mess, because I have been on the search for braille dots of various kinds. And so we're not going to talk about those in this particular video, but I want to keep them out in the messy state that they are, because I want to bring them up in another video. But kids, this video is for you. First, we're going to review letters A, B, and C, but before we do that, let me show you. This is a braille cell. Notice that it has 6 spaces. 1 top left, 2 middle left, 3 bottom left, 4 top right, middle right is 5, bottom right is 6, okay? I'm using an egg carton. You can use a muffin tin. You can use 6 cups, you can use whatever, as long as it is this basic shape, which is a rectangle that is in portrait mode, if you want to think of portrait mode, which means that it has 2 columns, a left column with 1, 2, 3, and a right column with 4, 5, and 6. Or you could think of it as having 3 rows. The top row, 1 and 4, middle row, 2 and 5, and the bottom row, 3 and 6. Now, this is what I want to point out is called reading mode, okay? We are learning in reading mode because I'm not sure that all of you have a brailler. If you do have a braillewriter, however, or if you do have a way to write braille, it is important that you do so, whether it's a slate and stylus, which I'm going to demonstrate in another video, a braillewriter, which I'm going to demonstrate in another video, or even electronic note taker, which I may demonstrate in the other video. It's kind of hard to do since I use that with my phone, but we'll see. But anyway, no matter what you have, it's important that that you use it if you have it. Now, I have now opened up my egg carton, which is what's representing my braille cell. So the lid over here on the left, you can ignore. I don't want to cut it off because when I put the dots in it, I can close it, and Tigerly and Whiskers Elizabeth, my kitty cats, will not be able to get into it. First, let's begin by reviewing. Remember, every time that you put something in the cell before you put a new letter in there, please clear it. You won't see me doing that because your braille cell should be laying flat on the table like this. My braille cell will be standing up like this because I need the video people to be seeing what's in it, okay? So, here is your A, dot 1, top left. Okay, dot 1 is an A. Remember, if I put it over here in the dot 6 position, if it's going to stay there, that is not an A. To be an A, it has to be up in dot 1, okay? Now, you at this point would clear your cell, but again, I'm not going to because I can't hold the braille cell up and have another hand to put dots in. But this is a B, 1, 2, top left and middle left, okay? Again, you would clear your cell. I'm going to now remove the dot from dot 2, and I would have taken dot 1 out, but dot 1 is in there, and now I'm putting dot 2 in there, dot 4 in there. 1 and 4 is a C, so I have the top left full and the dot on the top right full for 1 and 4. This is the word can, and then I'm going to, again, you would clear your cell. I'm going to put the B back, dots 1 and 2, that is the word but. And I'm going to put the dot 2 away, and you just have now dot 1, and that is the word A, okay? So we already have 3 letters that you've worked on and 3 words. Starting out, we're going to learn about and according, because about and according are used with just 2 letters, A and B, and A and C. So about is A, B. So what I want you to do is to put your A in. So I have, first of all, the cell's completely empty now. I'm going to place dot 1 in there. Okay, that is an A. Okay, now I'm going to take that A back out, clear my cell, and now I'm going to put the B in there. 1 and 2. That is a B. That is the word about. Okay? Now, let's make the word, well, first of all, let me say the word about in a sentence. I am about to teach you some new contractions. Okay? A, B is about. Now, about is called a short form word. It just uses the first two letters of the word. Some short form words will use the first and last letter. Maybe some will use the first three letters. Maybe some will use like a first and a middle and a last letter. But they're all shortened versions of the word, okay? So about is your first short form word that you use. And to make about in Braille, you use letters A, B. What that means is you can write, if you're going to write, I am about to teach you Braille, after the word am, you would put a space. And then you would have A, B, and then you would have another space, and then the rest of your sentence. So you have to have spaces on short form words unless they're on the short form word list, and you'll learn when they don't need spaces later on. But for right now, let's just use spaces with them all. Okay, now let's make according. A, okay, so I have my A in there. Now I'm going to clear it, and I'm going to put C, 1 and 4. Well, I was going to put 1 and 4. See, that's why a lot of times we'll leave them in because they want to come out. There's the C, okay? So let's do that again. We've got A, C for according, okay? So according is used in sentences like this. According to Mom, it is your night to do the dishes. What that means is Mom said. So you can kind of use the word according for said, but kind of why we use that word according is because we're saying, this isn't my idea. I'm giving credit. I'm making sure I tell you that this was someone else's idea. Okay? For example, another example with according in it might be, according to the weatherman, it is going to rain tonight. Okay, we could say, the weatherman said it is going to rain tonight. So we can use said for according there. But again, that according means we're saying, this is how we're documenting our source. This is how we're saying that's who did it. So in Braille, AC is according. Remember, you would do space, AC, space. Or, you know, you might capitalize the word according if it's at the beginning of the sentence. But pretty much the AC would have to stand alone, meaning that they can touch a space, a hyphen, or a dash. Okay? So what I want you to do as you're doing work for your other classes is to think of that word according when you're writing an article or when you're reading a research article. Look for that word according in there. It might say something like, according to the Hampshire Review, the whatever sports team won the tournament. Okay? That means the Hampshire Review said it is their idea. It is not my idea. Even though I might be the one writing it, it's not my idea. I'm telling you that someone else gave me this idea. Okay, that's important to know. It's a little bit off of the Braille itself, but remember, Braille is literacy. So when we're doing Braille, we are not only learning symbols to read and write, just like we do with print, but we're learning how to read and write. Okay, so we can't do much of that here with this particular virtual setup, and I may demonstrate myself reading Braille to you at some point. But now let's go ahead and do today's letters D, E, and G. D is 1, 4, and 5. So I have the top dot on the left full, the top dot on the right full, and the middle dot on the right full. And the reason I'm doing those descriptions is because some people on here that are watching may be blind and cannot see the cell. So I'll make sure that I'm describing that to you. 1, 4, and 5 is D, and D is the word do. Do you love Braille? Do. 1, 4, 5 for the letter D. Now we're going to do the letter E. For the letter E, I have dots 1 and 5 full. Dot 1 is on the top left, dot 5 is on the middle right. 1 and 5 is the letter E, and the alphabetic word sign for E is every. I would like to have every baseball card in this store. Every. Or, that's maybe not a very good example, but read every page of the book. Okay, every is an E, dots 1 and 5. And by the way, if you're doing this on a Braille writer, you're going to press 1 and 5 down simultaneously. Anytime you do a Braille character that has more than one dot, if you're using a Braille writer, you would push that more than one dot at the same time. Okay? We're going to learn the letter G, which is 1, 2, 4, 5. G. 1, 2, 4, 5. And I have 1 and 2 on the left, 4 and 5 on the right. So 1 is top left, 2 middle left, 4 top right, and 5 middle right. Okay? G is the word go. Will you go with me to the Braille Challenge this year? Go. Okay? Go is kind of shaped like a box. So it's okay to think of these letters as shapes. Okay? The letter G for go is shaped just like a box. Okay? I'm going to take away dot 4, 5, and 4 for a minute here. And I'm going to let you see the word B, but. There's the word letter B, the word but. The word but goes up and down the page, okay, from top of the page to the bottom of the page, okay, kind of like a vertical column, okay. The letter C goes across the page from left to right like a horizontal line, okay. C is like a line that goes across. I've now turned it into a C. Now I'm going to turn it into a D, okay. 1, 4, and 5. What shape does D make? Okay, I wanted to give you a second to think about that. D, whatever shape you think of, your answer may be different than mine, but it might not make it wrong, okay? Some people tell me D looks like a triangle, and it kind of does look like a triangle. But I like to think of it as a corner, okay? Like the corner of a box. So if you see my egg carton, if you can see my braille cell here, it goes across the top of the braille cell and down the right side of the braille cell. Doesn't go all the way to the bottom, okay? It goes about halfway down the braille cell, but goes all the way across the top of the braille cell and about halfway down the bottom, and that forms a corner in the top right of the braille cell, okay? I'm pointing this out because the letter D is the same shape as other letters. Just like B, C, and E that we've learned, they're all going to also be shapes of other letters, and you may find that you're getting B and C confused because they're exact same shape. You just have to remember that B goes down the page and C goes across, and the word across has a C in it. B, think of a bouncing ball, bounces toward the sky and back down to the ground. From sky to ground, B, like a ball bouncing. Okay? C goes across the page, and you can use whatever you want to help you remember that, but that's just a couple ideas. But D, I don't even think I had D up there. Now I have D up there. Look at D, 1, 4, and 5. Sorry, I had 2, 4, and 5, which just shows you it was still the same shape. It was just arranged differently. And see, we can get a reversal easy like that, so I'm actually not going to edit that out of the video. But I want you to see right now that this is a correct D, 1, 4, and 5. And I want you to see, now you can see D goes across to this corner and down about halfway, okay? So it goes across the top, forms a corner right here, and goes down about halfway on the right-hand side. 1, 4, and 5. Even though it's 3 balls, or 3 dots, we can think of it as kind of 2 lines that join at a right angle, okay, on the right-hand top side for AD. You want to find a way to remember this, okay? I'm going to choose the word ducks because I wrote a book called Ducking into UEB, okay? And ducks, when I make a little sentence for these, my ducks are in the top right-hand corner, okay? Now you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? So I'm going to show you a letter that you're not going to learn today. Okay, so don't remember this. This is the letter F, 1, 2, 4. But 1 and 2 go halfway down the left side. The 1 and 4 still go across the top right. So if you start on the dot 4, go to your left over to the dot 1, and then down halfway. That's what makes the F. So it's in the top left corner. And I like to think of F as 5. So 5, and then D for ducks, which is what I want you to remember, 1, 4, and 5, where it makes this corner on the top right. So remember, let's remember 5 for this top left corner for F, and then for this top right corner we can remember D for ducks, okay? And what we're going to create is eventually a box. And so I'll go ahead and tell you here that the left corner of your box is the letter H on the bottom. The right corner of the bottom of your box is going to be the letter J. So what I like to do is 5 ducks are going on a happy journey. So I start at the top left, go to the top right because I read from left to right, and then I go to the bottom of the box, start on the left, H for happy, and read over to the right to J for journey, okay? So those are like the 4 corners of a box, okay? That was a little bit more in detail than I wanted to get here, but let's review our alphabetic word signs. A, B for but, C for can, D for do, E for every, and G for go. Now I'm going to go ahead and share with you short form words. We did AB for about. We did AC for according. Now, this is a C. I'm not going to call out the dot numbers every time because now I'm starting to expect you to work on memorizing these, okay? C, and then I'm going to put dot 5 in to turn that into a D. C, D is the word could, okay? Now I'm going to move on to the word good. I'm going to slip my dot 2 in here to turn this into a G. 1, 2, 4, 5 for G. G. Now I'm going to take that dot 2 back out of there. G, D is the word good. Okay, so to make the word good in Braille, you just write G, D. Could and good, and I'll go ahead and tell you, you're not to them yet, but would and should all begin with their first letter, except for should begins with its first 2 letters. But today I want you to just know could, CD, good, GD. Okay? Again is the letters A and G. So here we have our A, dot 1, and now I'm going to put our G in here. Okay, there's our G. A, G is again. Okay, and let's see if we are coming up with any that I am forgetting. Not thinking of any, but that doesn't mean that I'm not forgetting any, guys. It's hard when you're trying to remember them off the top of your head. I think that's all. What I want you to do with your helper is I want you to now do some exercises where the helper or a friend calls out a letter, and you can even take turns and give them letters if you like. So, for example, they'll call out the letter B. Okay, you'll clear your cell all the way. All right, I have my cell completely empty, and if they call out the letter B, you're going to fill dots 1 and dots 2, okay? And then they'll say, yes, you're right, and then they'll give you another letter, or if you want to take a turn and give them a letter. The letters you should be working with right now are A, B, C, D, E, G. After you do that exercise, what I want them to do is to fill the cell, okay? Not to tell you the letter, but to fill the cell. Right now I have dot 1 filled and I have dot 5 filled. That's one of our new letters from today. What letter is that? And your answer should be the letter E. Okay, I want you to do that exercise. And another exercise that I want you to do is I want them to say, make the word. Okay, and they're going to call out a word. For example, they may say do. And you would put 1, 4, 5 in there and proudly show them the word do, which is formed using the letter D. Okay, so I want them to do that for your alphabetic word signs. And then for your short form words, which you can do that with your short form words like you saw me doing it, or you can get your Uno cards here, and I only have 6 of these out, okay? But you could use different, I have red, I think. I am blind also, but I think it's red. Oh yeah, it's got braille on it. It is an R for red. Okay, so if they called the letter for the word again, you would put your 1, okay, and I'm just going to hold it up here to make sure you can see it. I don't know if you can see it on the table. There's your A for again, okay, and then you put your 1 back, and then you put 1, 2, 4, 5, and there's your G, okay? So now what I want you to do with these is to lay them flat on the table here. I think maybe you can still see them like this too. Hopefully I wasn't holding them up too high earlier. So you can have a G here. Okay, so I only have red right now. I didn't take the other colors out, but you have blue, yellow, and green. So you have another A. You have a, say, for the word again, you might have a yellow 1 over here. And then for your G, you might have all the dots in red. Okay? Or if you do the word could, for example, could is CD. So a C is 1, 4. Okay, maybe your C is in red, and then maybe your D is in green. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can do your Uno cards like that. That is our current way of writing if you don't have a braille writer. But if you, and you can do that also. But then if you have a braille writer, I'd like you to write me align with the word could, align with the word again, align with the word can, align with the word do. What you don't forget to space after each word. So if you're going to do, for example, D space, D space, D space, D space until your bell rings, okay? And then go to a new line and then try another word, okay? And then make sure after you read your line to take your hands and go across it, okay? And then track back. And notice I'm using all of my hands. Hopefully you can see my hands. I'm not sure if you can. Let me pretend like this egg carton is now not a braille cell, okay? It's a piece of paper, okay? Because I think it's higher that you can see my hands a little bit. But notice how I'm keeping all my hands and going down the next line over, down the next line over, and it's moving a little bit, but hopefully you can see it. Notice that I have my hands cupped. I am not using the tips of my fingers, which is what people typically say. I am using the ball part of my finger. If I only use the tip, I'm only going to be able to feel the letter G. I need to be able to feel the entire cell, so I need to use the ball part of my finger. Also, I'm going to exaggerate this. You shouldn't be doing this, which is what I'm doing, is taking my hand and kind of going in circles. You should not be doing that. Your hand should go very lightly from left to right, never up and down unless you're going to a new line. Or if you're reading a tactographic, if you can see my hands, I'm going in a big circle now. I'm not going in a scrubbing kind of way. Scrubbing is not good for braille. First of all, it damages the braille, but second of all, it slows down your reading speed. Okay, you want to use all of your fingers on the line, even though your pointer fingers on either hand are really what's doing the job. And your real goal is to read the first half of the line with your left hand, finish the line with your right hand, and then your hand that's not reading is traveling back. And if it is your left hand, it's going to start reading the next line. But if it's your right hand, when it meets the left hand, it takes over reading, okay? Now, I don't want you to worry about that part too much right now. You have a stronger hand. Read with your left hand if your left pointer is stronger. Read with your right hand if your right hand pointer is stronger. I don't care which hand you read with, and you might start out reading the line with your strong hand, and then eventually you'll ask your weaker hand, okay, read only the word, say my weaker hand is my left hand. Okay, with my left hand, I'm only going to read the first word on the line, and then I'm going to trail along, but let my right hand read the rest of the line. Eventually I'm going to give my left weak hand a little bit more work until both hands are reading about half the line. And that really is the goal. If you're not there yet, that's okay. Just make sure you're reading with two hands, that you're using a light touch, that you're holding your wrists up, and that you're kind of curling your fingers like you're going to type on a keyboard. Okay, you don't want your wrist down on the table because you're going to smush whatever braille is under it if you do. Okay, that is today's lesson. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Just a little bit of technical difficulties here. Not really technical, but